Yeah. Please tell me that I can't, that I won't, that I fail, that I'll never make it out, yeah. Please tell me all the bad, never good, fill my head full of every single doubt, yeah. Please say any negative thoughts, I pop off when I hear people say I cannot. I get off to the thought of proving everyone wrong, I won't stop to the top, so you better back off and get lost. I'ma stay loud, stay proud, never running out, never heading south. I'll be spreading out, call it word of mouth, can't put me down, I'll be getting loud. You can have me douse, not what I'm about, have your fucking cloud. It be raining now, I keep making sound, go another round, bitch I'm legend bound, can't stop me now.
You don't wanna fuck with me, a slow burn like a disease. Just tell me that I can and show you things that you couldn't believe. Just tell me that I can. Just tell me that I can. Just tell me that I can. Just tell me that I can.
It's showtime.
Welcome to Friday Night Lights. I am your host, Mikey, and as always, ride with me, Shotgun. My boy Tommy, what's going on, brother?
What is going on, Mr. Mikey? Happy Friday, and Bills football is back.
Yeah,
tomorrow. Finally, good Lord, I've been waiting. This is a long-ass offseason, Mikey, and we have finally gotten here tomorrow at 1 p.m. at Highmark. It's the Ralph. Much better. That's what we always call it. But yes, I'm super excited for preseason.
Mm-hmm. It doesn't matter. It's football. You know, I'll tell you.
Yeah.
And we'll hop in, and I would love to get the chat because we got some of the people already in here. We got
go for it.
Chris 716, Jason N, Red, White, and Bills up in the house, Dallas in the house, and DG here. I'll tell you, for those of you that are watching football, there's been a lot of concern in Bills Mafia about our backup quarterback. It has not been pretty around the league with their backup quarterbacks up to this point.
Yeah, I know. I think only one, and we talked about this, but he's a former starter, Davis Mills.
Yep.
He had a good performance, but he is a starter. But either way, he's a backup, but that's the only one.
Yep.
But I got to say, the rookie's not too good either. The one guy, C.J. Stroud.
He looked, I mean, it's for first.
No, I get it, but that was it was a rough start. He'll have maybe the game a little bit too fast right away. You know what I mean? But it's first preseason, but that's good. You got to throw him in there and, say, hey, welcome to the NFL. And you got to watch the film.
You say Davis Mills, Mike White. Did you watch Mike White tonight? He did not look very good.
Yeah, I haven't watched. Mikey's saying Mike White is not looking good.
Zappy actually looked okay last night. You're right. Zappy looked okay.
Oh, you're right. That's the other one I heard. Yeah.
I'll be honest. Zappy might end up taking Mac's job.
I said it last year. I thought, in my opinion, remember when everyone's like, you're a Zappy lover? And I'm like, I hate I don't care about the Patriots, but I'm just being honest from a guy outside looking in. I thought Zappy gave him a little spark, looked a little better when he got the opportunity over Mac Jones, but whatever, that's their choice. I don't give a damn. Start Mac Jones.
Mike White has not looked very good. Granted, he's not playing with the ones, and that actually goes into a lot of it. When you're not playing with the ones, it's kind of hard. But he was 9 for 14 with an interception, and he had a chance for a touchdown, and he threw it way behind his receiver. And they got batted down on 4th down. Other than that, most of them haven't looked all that good. I'll be interested to see how this plays out. I'll be interested to see how the Bills' backups look. We know Allen and Diggs aren't playing tomorrow.
Right.
Then McDermott said there's going to be a few others. And I'll tell you, yesterday at practice, there was just a comment that I heard from Matt Perino and team that said that Ryan Bates got all the first team reps at right guard. There was no switching with Osiris Torrance. I started thinking about it. That makes a ton of sense if Mitch Morse doesn't play tomorrow. Bates starts at center, Torrance starts at right guard. But otherwise, why wouldn't you continue the rotation?
Right.
That's the only thing I can think of. And I'd love to see that because one, I have a feeling that's going to be the future of our offensive line with Bates at center and Torrance at right guard and McGovern at left guard. So I'd love to see what it looks like tomorrow to start with. There's no need to put Mitch Morse out there tomorrow. We know what
I
he
agree.
is.
I agree.
Like
Right. Yeah, why risk it? Why risk a concussion on a stupid preseason game? Listen, preseason mainly, and I said it before. This is for guys to earn a roster spot or guys to fighting for position battles, right? So, or a little lot knocking the rust off, right? Which we'll see, I think, more in week 2, like Josh Allen, Diggs, maybe a series or 2. But I agree with you, man. A guy like, if you're a veteran like Mitch Morse, like, dude, he doesn't really need to be in there, especially week 1 of preseason. Let Ryan Bates, take that spot for now. And I think it's good reps for him anyways, right? So I agree with that, man. If that's what they're going to do tomorrow.
And I want to get back to Dallas's comment, but first I want to hit Spin. He says they'll probably have Mance start. I'll be mad if they have Mance.
I do start. Not. I don't like Mance.
Look, listen, I'll be mad in general because the first team isn't going to stay out there, but a series or 2. Why not have Bates at center, Torrance at right, get a field? Because Torrance isn't going to come off the field after the first team. Torrance is going to play with the second team.
Right, well. Right.
So why not get him some reps with those guys? Moving Mance to start with Bates at right guard to start would make 0 sense to me.
Right.
I
listen, I've seen Mance in action, and yeah,
Mance isn't even the backup center. Bates is the backup center. Every time Moore steps out of the first team, Bates goes and takes those reps. It's not even Mance that goes in there, so it wouldn't make sense for that to happen. I think Mance will play a bunch tomorrow at center. I think it's going to be with the second and third
later,
teams.
Later in third quarter.
Right. No, I think in the second quarter. I think.
You think so? He'll pop in the second.
Because I think Bates is going to get treated as a starter.
Okay.
So he'll play the first couple series, and then I have a feeling he's going to pop out because they know what he is already. He has a few years. And I think Torrance will stay in through the second team. Probably. Yeah. Torrance will probably play most of the first half.
I think you'll see. I think you'll see Spencer Brown too. By the way,
I don't know if you'll see Dawkins.
You're right. Dawkins probably not because but I think Spencer Brown. I think definitely.
You'll see McGovern, Bates, Torrance, and Brown, and I think it'll either be Doyle or Questenberry on the left side to start.
Yeah, and Edwards will pop in as well. You'll see some Edwards.
You'll see Edwards. You'll see Bacher. You'll through the first 2, probably through the early third quarter, but then you're going to see like Broker and Richard Garage and all those later guys in the late third or through the fourth quarters. That's when you'll see all those backups.
Right.
Alec Anderson and those guys. Dallas comes in and asks us, hey guys, on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being great, how confident are you with the O-line so far? Do you want to go first or do you want me to go first?
You go ahead.
I'm going to say a 6, which is 2 points better than what I thought we had last year. I rated us at the top as a 4 last year. I would say 6. I'll be interested to see how it plays out once we get our starting 5 together. Me personally, I want the starting 5 to be Dawkins, McGovern, Morris, Torrance, and Brown. Torrance gives us a higher ceiling. Bates gives us a higher floor. But Bates also is a super sub that can play, all 5 spots. I would rather him be the 6th offensive lineman coming off if someone gets hurt, rather than us pulling him from somewhere, putting him somewhere else, and then bringing, another backup in. That doesn't make a ton of sense to me.
Yeah.
But I would say I'm at a 6 right now. I think we have the upside of an 8 if everything works out. I don't think we'll be the top tier, but I think we have a chance to be a solid offensive line this year if we hit on our right guard and right tackle.
Right. 1 to 10. I'll say 6. I'm gonna go with Mikey too. I'm teetering on 7, but last year I thought our offensive line improved, and I was wrong. So, listen, I say a 6 because we don't know yet what we're going to get with McGovern. I hope we get the good side of McGovern from Dallas, right? We don't get the bad of McGovern from Dallas. If he's the good McGovern from Dallas, we got a good left side there, right? We know, right? Doc is McGovern. Mm-hmm. If you could be that McGovern we saw in Dallas, the good McGovern. And then you got, obviously, Mitch Morse, who's, I would say, top 10, almost a top 10 center. I would say maybe top 10 center. And then, of course, you got the right guard. Who will it be? Right, I'm thinking Torrance, but now, guys like Joe Marino saying that Ryan Bates probably going to be starting. Torrance is looking bad, which I totally disagree. I like the guy. I do. No shade on Joe Marino, but from what I've heard and people at camp that's gone there, I've heard Torrance has had a very good camp. Now, mind you, maybe he had a rough day, but I think every player pretty much has had a rough day or two. That doesn't mean they're out of the race, and I don't think he is, because look what Dorsey said, and they're neck to neck right now. So I don't agree with that statement. But then you got Spencer Brown, who is the question mark. Let's be real, he is the question mark, and I think he'll be fine. I think Spencer Brown's going to have a good season, in my opinion, but until we got to see it first, right? We got to see it. So he is a question mark. So that right side is my question mark for the most part, right? The right guard and right tackle. If Torrance plays week 1, I think we'll be fine. And if Spencer Brown can handle his job, then we got ourselves a 7.5. You know what I mean? A pretty good offensive line. But let's just hope people stay healthy this season, especially the offensive line, so we're not playing musical chairs again. And, so I'll say 6.
Okay, and let's touch on Torrance for a second, because the Red, White, and Bills comes in and says flip-flopping on Torrance is annoying. I never trust can't beat guys. They have their own agendas. But everything I've heard, because I listened to like Matt Perino, I listened to all the different beat writers, Sal and Joe and all these other guys, and everything I hear was Torrance is having a really good camp. He's really, really good in the run game. And he was starting to have a little bit of trouble lately in the pass game, but that was when he was going against Daquan Jones.
Mm-hmm.
I've watched Daquan Jones give veteran all-pros trouble. So hearing that he might be struggling a little bit against Daquan Jones doesn't concern me. It will concern me if he goes in, tomorrow night and he struggles with, the second team, defensive tackles. That's when I'll start to be concerned. Camp is one thing, game's a whole different thing.
When the light, that's right, Mikey, I said it so many times. Like, I've talked to players, like, former players, when the lights go on,
it's different.
Sometimes the juice is a little different for these guys, and they play at a different level than what they do at camp or practice. You know what I mean? So, I think Torrance is going to shine in preseason. That's where he's going to earn that starting right guard, in my opinion. Now, if he goes out in preseason, like you said, and he just struggles, then hey, it is what it is, man. I'm not going to be mad at the coaching staff for making Ryan Bates a starter, week 1, if that's the case. Now, if that's not the case, and Torrance is holding his own, and Ryan Bates still starts week 1, I'm going to be a little upset about it. I will be, because I don't agree with that. Then I got to say, hey, what's going on here? Like, this is the guy that you draft in the second round. This is a guy that's a first-round talent. He looked good in preseason, and you still went Bates over it, while Bates could still be a guy waiting in the wings on anyone that's getting hurt. He's a perfect guy to have. So I don't understand. I wouldn't understand that. So we'll see tomorrow. We'll see the next 3 weeks, really, on how Torrance, handles himself. I think he'll handle it just fine, but you got to give him the reps as well, though. Like, that's very important, Mikey, to these guys. Like, I don't want to see them not get the reps with the ones. So I think Torrance is going to run with the ones at some point. I hope he runs the ones when Josh is on the field next week. That I want to see as well. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Because I do believe Josh will play a series like he did last year. Him and Dig both will play a series just to knock some rust off. But I don't want to see a ton of our starters in these.
I agree.
Especially the veterans. They don't need to be out there. Some of the young guys, okay. you want to put Dotson out there, you want to put Torrance out
Right.
there, you want to get Brown some work out there because Brown
Right.
needs the work because he missed all of last offseason. You know, he needs to get some of those reps. You want to put Rousseau out there a little bit, get him a little bit more reps. AJ and Boogie and those.
100% AJ and Boogie.
Yeah. I'm just even if you wanted to give Leonard Floyd a couple extra reps just because he hasn't played in this defense before, I'm okay with that too.
Yeah, I agree.
I don't want to see a lot of Hyde and Poyer. Those are
neither do I.
vets.
No need for them to.
Don't need
absolutely
to see it on a tray. Need. I would love to see Benford and Elam start every preseason game.
Me too. Like, I have a feeling, Mikey. I think it's going to be Benford, man. I mean, we'll find out what happens, this preseason. And I like Kairos, and this is not a knock on Kairos. Like, I don't know if he's gotten a fair shake so far. I'll be honest with you. Like, I don't know how that, if McDermott is just being really too tough on him as far as, I don't know, because he's a rookie last year. But he wasn't too tough on Benford. So I just think everything I've heard as far as when they talk about Benford, they just really think, I think they just feel like he's a playmaker, and I think mentally, like, he's just a little ahead of the, of everything.
It would make sense. He spent 4 years in a multiple defensive system. Kyrie's played nothing but man coming out. That's why I didn't understand the Kyrie Elam draft pick. You remember on draft night, when we talked about it, I never mocked Kyrie to us because he didn't play our system.
I didn't either. Yeah, I didn't either.
And not that I didn't think he was a good corner, but if you take Kyrie and you put him in a Wink Martindale defense, the dude's probably starting week one.
Right. Yeah. You might be right. This might be the case. Might give just the guy this is not the system for him. I mean, it's very possible. Now it's early. I'm not doing that yet on this guy, but it's possible, guys, that maybe Kyrie's this system, McDermott's defense, is just not something that he is going to transition to. You know what I mean? Maybe it's just one of those things where he can never. Maybe he's just not comfortable with it, and certain players are. It is like that. So
he grew up as a man corner. He never learned the concepts of zone. He never played that.
Right.
He went to a college that was strictly a man. It's a man on man. See what happens. And then you get into a complex defense like McDermott has, where it's a lot of zone, disguised coverage. You have to learn all that crap.
Yeah. But I will say this. Sorry to cut you off. I will say this though. When Elam's been on the field though, I've seen really good flashes from Kyrie Elam. Like it's not like he's get out there and he's sorry. Like he's made some good. Like last season, I thought he did pretty well. You know what I mean? I thought both Benford and Elam had their good and bad. You know what I mean? They had their rookie struggles at time, but I didn't think Elam was like, oh my God, awful. You know what I mean? Like I thought Elam handled his own for the most part. But he had his rookie bumps. But I just think, like I said it before, I think Benford's he's just learning the system a little bit faster.
Well, I loved Benford last year.
Yeah.
We talked about this. We loved Benford last year coming out. The fact that you can get a 6th round pick and turn him into that, like J.C. Jackson was undrafted free agent who went on to be one of the top cornerbacks in this league. Sean McDermott's taken late round picks and turned them into elite, corners. He's a cornerback whisperer. That's why we were super excited to get a 1st round pick with him. We thought he could do something. Maybe that Elam just hasn't clicked on how the scheme is played. It doesn't fit his style of play, and that's a whole nother just a conversation.
Maybe he needs more time.
I don't care if it's Elam or if it's Benford. I just don't want Dane Jackson.
Exactly.
I know what Dane Jackson is. Yeah. Dane Jackson is a good CB2. He's okay. He's good.
I agree with that. Yeah, but, I think he's slightly better than Levi Wallace. Okay.
Yeah.
But I think he's borderline a CB2.
Okay.
Depending on the team. You know what I mean?
Great. Yeah. Like he played better than we want to give him credit for last year.
Yeah.
He did, and that's because we all wanted to see Elam and Benford.
He did.
I just don't see how a borderline CB2 who's on a 1-year deal starts over a
Right.
second year cornerback who has multiple years and is supposed to be the future of our position. That just makes zero
Right.
sense.
I agree. My problem with Dane last year was I thought he played better the year before, but I thought last year it just seemed like he got beat a lot. And normally the year before when he got beat, he would make a play on the ball. And I felt like last year he didn't make the play on the ball. You know what I mean? Everybody made a play on him. Like he was there, he would get into the play, but he could never bat the ball, right?
Yeah.
Pass deflect the football or get a hit and jar the ball loose. Like he was always getting burnt. And I think with Benford and Elam, the way they played, their physicality, what I saw last year is when they got beat, they didn't let that happen. For the most part, they got on the play and they jarred the ball loose, or they, you know what I mean? They tipped the ball. So like I felt more comfortable with them in there, Benford or Elam, but I don't know. I just don't want to. It's not a knock on Dane Jackson. I'm not saying cut Dane or like we need Dane. Yeah. Dane's staying, but I'd rather have for me. It's either Benford or Elam.
They give you more athletic upside than what Dane gives you.
Correct. Yes.
At the end of the day, Dane's a very good, corner. He belongs in the league. I want him on this team. I don't want him starting opposite of Trey. I want to see one of the more athletic corners start opposite of Trey. And if Benford is the guy who sees it better and is a playmaker, put Benford out there. I don't care.
Right.
I'm okay with that. It doesn't have to be Kyer. I'm not such a Kyer stan. I would like to see Kyer do it because we invested a first-round pick, but it's not like we haven't watched Bean blow high draft picks before, and they just not turn out.
Oh yeah. I mean, look, I think every GM's done that though.
Yeah.
Like
it's a crapshoot.
Exactly. So it's kind of sometimes it's a little unfair, but it's our team, and that's how we do. Team fan bases will always find something to.
So
be unhappy about.
Waro comes in and asks, do you think the neck injury affected him? I think it affected him when he first came back. I don't think it affected him in week 17. When he was still making those plays. It might have affected his tackling because he was a better tackler the year before than he was last year.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But it doesn't affect, and as Whitetown Kings comes in and says, it doesn't his head around the time, He's a better version of Levi Wallace. It's the best way to say it.
Yeah.
And we know how much I love Levi.
Right.
No. I don't think it was an excuse. I truly believe it may have affected his tackling. I don't think it affects his ability to get to understand where the ball's at in the play. I do think it affected his tackling, though. I absolutely do. And Cover One did a breakdown on it, and they said the same thing. From everything they watched, him tackling before the injury and after the injury.
Then that's a mental thing, right? So that's him thinking about it and trying to like brace himself or tackle different
injury.
It really, man, he caught some nasty crossfire by an absolute dog in Tremaine Edmonds. He's like, how big was that dude? 6'5". Like, I mean, all muscle. I mean, like diving, like trying to take your head off. Like, that was nasty. Like, it looked way worse than the Hyde. And Hyde, it was a freak kind of the way he.
Hyde didn't even look bad. He hit him and
down. Yeah, it was just but at an angle, it was put his spine kind of, his neck or whatever, but.
Dallas comes in and says, I'm hoping for from big things from our secondary this year. I think we're going to see huge things from our secondary this year. You have to remember, we were without Trey White for 11 games, and then when he came back, he wasn't the same Trey White.
Nah.
He's back to that Trey White this year. Jordan Poyer dealt with injuries from preseason on last year.
Yep.
Micah Hyde went down in week 2. That's 3 all-pros out of our secondary that we were missing last year.
Exactly. And then Benford and Elam were hurt all season. In and out all season.
Yeah, all season. I mean, Jackson too. Jackson got hurt, and all 3 of them. You have to remember, Micah Hyde also is the best he's felt in years because he was always dealing with that neck injury before he really hurt it.
Right.
So he always had that. He said, I guess he made a play yesterday on Stephon Diggs. Allen threw him.
Yeah, I heard. Yeah.
And he got, is shades of the of the New England game.
Yeah.
Except he didn't pick it off. He was just able to knock it down. Like, that's awesome to hear.
You know why too? I think the DBs will be a little bit better too this year coming up. I think because you got to remember too
D-line.
when the D line, because of the D line. So if the D line's getting more pressure to the quarterback's either gonna make a mistake, get rid of the ball early, or just try to force something into tight coverage when he shouldn't. So I definitely think the DBs will benefit from the D line this year. So I do think that the DBs will look a lot better. Because remember, last year, man, once again, when Von went out, the D-line could not get any pressure to the quarterback. And the quarterback's out all day. And I don't care who you are back there, you can only hold a receiver for so long, right? They're going to get open. And that's what happened. You saw that. Matter of fact, you saw that in the Dolphin game at times. When Tua was out there, no pressure, right? That Waddle play, remember? That was a long play. I think it was Dane that got beat on that, right? Was it Dane? Yeah. But it was a long play. Like, it shouldn't have happened. If the pressure was there early, Tua not holding the ball so long, Waddle eventually got free. He's going to. Yeah. So you get pressure on these guys. They don't have the opportunity to get free like that. So
not just I think pressure, but collapse pressure. We were getting pressure, but it was only one guy. So they can
I'm talking about collapse. Yes, I'm talking about collapse pressure where the quarterbacks has to do one or the other, right? Throw the ball away or throw it in tight coverage or take the sack, right? 3 things.
There's 2 I want to hit on. First, let's hit on Scott Blakely. He says Raptor will contribute. Taylor Raptor think he's going to have a big role. And I think he's going to be in multiple locations. I think they're going to use him as a rover and move him all over the place. He is going to have a big role. Yeah. Yep. And then Jessica Tennis comes in. How you doing, Jessica? It's been a while. Glad you're here. If there's no injuries, who do you think the last player makes the roster on defense? I have it coming down to Neal and Lewis with Vaughn and Tyler Matakevich on PUP. Here's the problem, and I like where your head's at, but Neal and Lewis are our 2 starting gunners right now.
Mm-hmm.
I think they both make the roster. I think it comes down to Shaq Lawson, Boogie Basham, one of those 2. Yep. I think it comes down to on the interior guards, or maybe one of the tackles that goes because Bates can get you through. They're gonna shave other places because of it. I truly think we're gonna have 5 safeties. I think it's gonna be.
And Cam's having a good camp too. By the way,
and Cam can play all the special teams. Mm-hmm. Plus, he can play any of the cornerback spots and safety. So he's a versatile guy. Plus, he's now one of the gunners opposite. So unless one of our young receivers can turn out to be a gunner over there, Cam looks fine. And Neal is paid to be our elite special teams ace.
Yeah. Neal's not going anywhere. Like I was ecstatic when they signed him last season. Like when they extended him. So I believe it was last season, right? When they extended Neal. I think he was one of the first ones they extended, but they love Neal, man. Saran Neal, he is a special team dude, man. That dude, and he can come in once in a while too and play linebacker. You know what I mean? Like if you need him to, he's not a bad player. You can play corner here and there. Now he's not the best at it, but he's one of those guys. He's also a kind of a hybrid, super athlete type of player. So they're definitely not getting rid of him at all, man. So no.
And Jessica comes in and says Shorter is the gunner. Shorter has the gunner experience. He hasn't been put out there yet. So maybe with Lewis out right now with injury, maybe that gives Shorter a shot. We'll see tomorrow when it comes time if Shorter is going to be considered gunner. Because I heard Tyrell Shavers, the other receiver, rookie undrafted free agent receiver,
Tyrell Shavers
is played really well as a gunner too. And he's made a lot of plays in practice. So it's like a Shorter versus Shavers is kind of versus Isabella is like who that wide receiver 6 is right now. Those 3 guys, and the gunner position may be that. And if that's the case, maybe Lewis doesn't make the team.
I can't see him getting rid of Shorter though, or putting him on. I think he's a project player that Bean was excited for when he drafted him. The way he talks about him, I don't see him giving up on that guy early. And I think if you put him on a practice squad, I think he's that kind of player that some other GM would be willing to roll the dice just like Bean did. And
Well, he's a 5th-round pick. You don't usually
sixth round, right? 6th-round pick.
5th.
Was he 5th? I'm sorry. Okay, 5th round.
Yeah.
But I still think like another team would swoop him up pretty quick, just to take the chance on him. I mean, why not? So I would not put him on the practice squad. That guy. And by the way, I gotta say, the one group I've been worried about have all stood out in camp. Man, all the receivers, every single one of them has made plays. It's pretty crazy. Not one has been bad. Like, they've all played pretty well.
Yeah.
So it's going to be tough. Cuts are going to be tough, man.
Yeah, and I'm with Spin, and the only way Isabella makes the rosters if they want him to be the returner.
I don't think he does.
I think he's gonna be practice squad and be ready to pull up in case Hardy gets hurt. Because he has an injury background. He's gonna be insurance.
And no one's picking up Andy Isabella. And if they do, so what?
I mean, we picked him up in training camp. So everyone had the opportunity.
And like I said, once again though, even if another team swoops him up, who cares? Like, honestly, I'm not going to be crying a river. Like, you could put Shakir back there. You know what I mean? Like, it's not the end of the world, bro.
I don't know if Frazier made our DBs look bad. I think we were playing backup DBs. We lost 3 All-Pro people in our secondary last year. They're not going to look as good.
I think he purposely put Frazier, like a fraud.
Yeah.
I could be wrong. Maybe you accidentally misspelled it, but I don't know if you did.
I like Leslie. I think he's a good defensive coordinator. I think his time just ran his course here.
Mm-hmm.
That's all.
Yeah, man. Listen, I'm with Mikey, man. I think he got a little bit too much heat. I think he is a good DC. I don't know if he. I'm a little nervous with him being a head coach. He's so laid back, but who knows, mate? We'll see when he gets the opportunity again.
He wasn't bad in Minnesota.
He wasn't bad, but he also wasn't good. Like, you're right, great. But like you said, I think it's his time. It was his time, and we needed to make a change. And he was here a long time. So
my issue was playoff coverage, and as they said here, as who says it in here. Waro says, but what about in the playoffs? His inability to change up our scheme in the playoffs, it was just made me want to vomit.
Yeah, that was that's
my only gripe with Frazier. Other than that,
100%. I'm with you 100%. Like,
yeah,
the defense failed us every playoff run.
McDermott is responsible for all of it.
100%.
And I think it's why he's calling the plays this year. He knows he's responsible for all of it.
He's responsible as well because he should have. Listen, Mikey, and I said this before. If you saw the writing on the wall with Frazier that he couldn't adjust in the damn playoffs with his defense, Frazier's been here a while. We made the playoffs a lot of years. Like, he should have already moved on from Frazier, right? And we shouldn't even had Frazier. Maybe McDermott takes over last season, and it's a little bit different. You know what I mean? But I think he waited too long to make that decision. You know what I mean? Bean and McDermott to go, hey, Frazier, we love you. Now we're going out. Let's just part ways, but do it the same way. I don't think anybody would have been like, oh, my God. Like, I think we would have all been on board if Frazier left last season.
Yeah.
But, I just think he waited too long.
That's fine. Red, White, and Billsman says McDermott chose the 13-second play. I don't believe that. I truly don't believe that.
That's one. When
Lombardi came out and said it, nobody else has said that.
Nobody clarified that. Yeah, exactly. No. You don't know that. I don't know that.
Yeah, I think that's just the media, talking as the media does. It was the off season. It was during a dead period. They had to come up with something. Somebody said something.
The only way, Mikey, like, just I could maybe see it possible is McDermott did in the past take over play calling from Frazier in some games. Now, I'm not saying that he did it that 13 seconds. I'm just saying I could see the argument and someone saying, well, he did it before. Why wouldn't he do it then? You get what I'm saying? So, but once again, it's one guy reporting it. Haven't heard it from anyone else. The players never said McDermott took over. No former players have come out and said McDermott was the one calling the defense there. He's the one that was responsible. Frazier wasn't even on the headset. Like, you think you would hear something else, a source from inside the locker room. Mike Lombardi said it. Like, so
Mike
I'm going
Lombardi
to take
said
it.
a lot of shit.
Exactly. So right now, I think it's. I don't believe that. However, I think that 13 seconds is on both McDermott and Frazier. I think that was a whole shit show from the kickoff where miscommunication with the special team. Who the hell's talking to special teams, coach? Right?
Who's not here anymore? Who left that after that play? So.
Right. So it's like, whoa. That I think it was just a total. Once again, I think that was a McDermott just not, hitting that wall and just kind of getting flustered like he does, right? In close games or, playoff games that are come down to the wire, and he calls a timeout early or he starts to panic, and I think that was a panic moment, man.
I also believe that play, the coverage wasn't the horrible coverage. It was a bad play by Levi Wallace.
Sure, but it was still very soft zone defense. You don't need to play soft zone.
It was.
Absolutely
It was a prevent defense that was not executed correctly.
Yeah, prevent defense in decent weather. It wasn't even Buffalo in snowy weather where you're nervous about losing your footing in the snow on a deep like. I don't understand it. Oh, don't bring me back bad memories, please.
Yeah, nobody called that kick. That's kind of the problem. Right. Nobody wanted to take responsibility for it.
No, right. No. That's what I'm saying. Right. Nobody even wants to talk about it because I'm telling you, it was all so bad, bro. That whole thing was, and you got to go back. It's the head coach.
Okay.
No matter what.
That's 2 years ago. We're in a new
season.
No,
I know. But somebody talk, bro. Bring it up. We got to talk about it.
At the end of the day, it is what it is. Frazier's gone. McDermott's now calling the plays. I'll tell you, if we have that same failure in the playoffs, it's McDermott's head this time.
Oh, 100%. And that, yeah. Well, that's why I told you this season, boy, it's a lot of pressure. He put that backpack. He put a bunch of bricks in his backpack.
No, I'm with you, Spen. And that was my issue with Frazier's defense in the playoffs. He played that soft, prevent, bend but don't break defense. Let him drive down. And I hate that defense.
I can't stand it either.
No doubt comes in.
Scared ass defense.
No doubt comes in. This new defense is about to be fire. Listen, Sean McDermott is known as a tactile defensive coordinator. It's how he got his job as the head coach.
That's right.
It comes from that Jim Johnson tree. And all they did was attack. If he follows the Carolina version blueprint that he ran with this new D-line having the waves of pass rushers, because, I think Jessica said it. If you go back to that Cincinnati game, which everyone talks about, our D-line was in shambles. Our defense was in shambles.
Yeah.
We were so beat up. Two of the guys that playing were playing at, half human. Like Jordan Phillips was playing with one arm.
Right.
We had no
Daquan. Right.
Rousseau is still playing with a high ankle sprain. Ed Oliver was playing with an ankle issue. Like we were just beat up.
Yeah,
and it didn't work.
There's safeties.
So what? Yeah, no Vaughn. So what did we do? We were bringing all those guys back that are healthy. Now we brought in Leonard Floyd, and we brought in Puna Ford to help offset those issues, which is huge because it gives us more guys. That we can keep pushing through. So I'm excited to see what McDermott can do. Now, just set your expectation. Don't expect a super aggressive defense tomorrow or through the preseason. He's not going to put it on. He's not going to put it on video.
That goes to the offense as well, guy.
Yes. Well, I mean, we don't have Allen out there anyway.
Very. It doesn't even if we do.
Yeah.
It's going to be very vanilla on both sides of the ball. This is just for them to evaluate players. And that is it, man. That's nobody gives a shit about preseason record. But of course, I don't want to see
red, white, and Bills. I want you to say something
football.
Positive. Red, white, and Bills. I want you to say something positive, please. Give me one thing, because I've been having to refute you all night long, buddy. Give me one thing. Give me something positive, brother.
I try to tell you. Welcome to my world, man. Love you, Sean.
Oh yeah, I absolutely love Sean. Give me one. Shane Ray's been coming on. Matt Chatter comes in and says, "Go Shane Ray." Shane Ray's been flashing over the last 2 weeks. I keep it real. that's fine. You can keep it real, but you're telling me there's no positive coming out of Buffalo Bills training camp?
No.
Nothing? Y'all look handsome. There we go. Keep it real, brother.
Thank you, buddy. Thank you. I appreciate it.
I know, I need something. Sometimes these coaches will drop buses based on what the coach of the opposing team wants. Yeah, it's odd, It's a chess game out there. Shane Ray is a fantastic story, Chris. Former first-round pick who was off to a banner start, got hurt, and just couldn't get over that injury bug. Got into his own head, got out of the league.
Yeah,
got his mental health right. Went to the CFL and worked his way back into the league.
Yeah, he is someone I would definitely be watching and rooting for, no doubt about it. And from everything I've heard in camp so far, he's doing a pretty good job. And he's right next to Vaughn. Like Vaughn's been talking, they've been talking, and that's the guy you want to be next to once again. But this is why preseason is so important, guys. Can Shane Ray do enough in preseason to get on the 53? He has an uphill battle, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, I'm with Jessica, who says Shane Ray is going to be on the practice squad. I honestly believe he'll also make the practice squad. Correct. And he'll be called up in case of an injury.
And that's not a bad thing for him. No. It's really not. Yeah.
The Mad Chatter comes in and says, any takes on which edge we trade?
I'm going Boogie, man. You can't get anything for Shaq.
I think Boogie's the only one that has trade value. Boogie or AJ, and if you listen to Sean McDermott, AJ's in the plans, so I don't think it's going to be him. I think Boogie's the guy on the outside looking in.
I agree.
But is there any news? Absolutely not, and the Bills won't let there be any news about it.
No, and they, if anything, they'll showcase these guys. They'll showcase Boogie. They'll keep Boogie in there probably longer, and maybe Boogie looks good in preseason because they're showcasing him against thirds, right? And then they wind up moving him because another team's like, oh, this guy looking pretty sharp. Right? They did that with Peterman. They did that with AJ, They did that with a guard one year. I forget his name. It got something for him. They traded him to Patriots.
It was the center, Russ Bodine.
Was it? Okay, I thought there was another guy for the Patriots too. They I forget his name.
We traded Bodine to the Patriots for like
was it? Okay.
For a sixth. Well, no, a fifth. It's actually we traded him for a fifth, and then we traded one of our tackles to Carolina for a sixth. That was a Newhouse, Marshall Newhouse.
That's who it is.
Marshall Newhouse.
Yeah. That's who I was. I was like, I'm trying to think of my head. What was this?
And we traded him to Carolina and got
yes, Newhouse. Yeah. Right?
Marshall Newhouse.
So my point is, I think this is also preseason is to sometimes showcase your guys that you are thinking about cutting anyways. And he could showcase Boogie Basham for a couple games, make him look a little, good against, the third team, and ship him off.
Boogie was a second-round pick who a lot of people probably have really good writings, so they'll go back to their draft and see what they had for him.
Mm-hmm.
I can see either a trade for a depth O-line, hopefully tackle area, like we did when we traded for Bates.
Bring it back.
Yep. Or I could see us trading him for a pick because I feel like he has the value. He still has 2 years left on his deal. Someone would take a shot on him. I mean, hell, we got something for Cody Ford, and so that would be interesting. Every time I hear Boogie's name, all I think of is Creed Humphreys. Me and you both, Spin. Me and you both, brother. I was
so annoyed
mad
with that pick.
I was so mad. There was a question here. I got to find it again that I liked.
Chat's on fire tonight, man, by the way. Awesome job,
we had an idea of talking, but we're 45 minutes in, and it doesn't look like we're ever going to get to it. So, which is fine.
Yeah. I don't care. Let the chat go, man.
Yep, it was talking about Harris. Where is it? Or Murray. Dallas Holland comes and says it sounds like Murray took advantage with Harris out. somewhat concerning about Harris due to his injury history. This has been what Tommy's talked about since the day we signed him. But you know what? Having Harris in the back pocket for later in the year is fantastic. Having Murray as the insurance policy is such a great pickup by Bean. The guy is always, normally healthy. He's a big back. Sounds like he loves the role that he's in. Josh trusts him as he checked down and took a 70-yarder to the house on a check down. Josh had a chance to go deep. He said, screw it, checked it down, and then he broke out and went to the house. Yeah. I want to see more of that from Josh this year. Check down, get those short. We've used Gabe Davis now in a short passing role, not just deep, which is fantastic. Gabe Davis.
By the way,
great.
Yeah,
game.
Sorry, Mike.
Go ahead.
By the way, so I look back because I wanted to see Murray last year. I was just curious on some of his highlights. Murray has pretty good speed, bro. He's not a slow back. Like, go walk. Listen, guys. I'm telling you, go back, look at Murray's last season highlights. Not like years ago. Look at last season. That dude had some big breakaway runs, Mikey. He's not slow by any means. And he's a bigger back, bro. 6'3". Bro, he hits those holes, and he is gone, bro. I'm telling you, he has some wheels. And, bro, listen, I told you all about Harris. That was the one concern that I had with him. He had one season where he was healthy in New England, and he played great. He had a great season, 15 touchdowns, like unbelievable. But other than that, he's missed so much time, and it's not just one. It's so different. It's like he's injured all over the place, right? Like, just cannot catch a break, and boom, already hurt again, right, in preseason. In camp. Now, it's day to day. We don't know, right? It could be something very minor. We're making it more bigger than what it is, but it's still concerning. It is because it's him. If it was somebody else, James Cook, day to day, I wouldn't really overstress it. Fine, the guy doesn't have an injury history, but it's Harris who has a track record of this. And how is he going to last through the whole season? That's why you pick up Murray, and that's why Murray is a great option to have. And he's been playing good in camp. So. Yeah, I'm cool. I'm comfortable with it. But I will say, if there's a running back that gets cut that Bean feels more comfortable with, don't be shocked if Harris gets cut for another running back that gets on the waivers. I'm just throwing it because
it doesn't cost us anything. He signed a $1.77 million deal, so we don't sound like a bunch of money's going to be attached to it. So I want to touch on this. Trick says every time I hear Dorian Williams' names, all I think of is Dwan Jones. Dwan Jones looked awesome too in his first outing last week in the Hall of Fame game. There's 3 over the last 3 years. It's Boogie Basham over Creed Humphreys, which makes me sick. It's Trell Bernard over Dylan Parham, the guard for Oakland or Las Vegas now.
Who, by the way, got hurt as well in camp. I don't know what the story.
Parham?
Bernard.
Yeah, hamstring.
Yeah, so
he, and then last year it was Dorian Williams over Dorian Jones. Every year we seem to take a depth guy over a potential starter on the offensive line, and I just don't understand it. If you could have gotten Osiris Torrance and then in the 3rd round grabbed Dwan Jones, you could have one of the biggest right sides of your offensive line ever, and put us an insurance policy for Spencer Brown. I don't understand it at all.
I agree. I don't know if Torrance gets in the 3rd round though.
No, but you could have taken Jones in the 3rd.
No, I agree. I agree with that. But you know what though, Dorian Williams, I still think he has good potential here. I get what you're saying though. I'm with you there. But we haven't really seen Dorian Williams to argue that yet. But I understand what you're saying. I get your point.
Jason, the problem with getting Kareem Hunt is Kareem Hunt wants money. We don't. Yeah,
he's floating. He's smart right now too. He's going to Minnesota next, from what I heard last.
Yep, because he went to where'd he go? He went to the Saints, and then he went to Indianapolis.
Colts. Yep.
And now we're going to visit with
Minnesota. Yeah.
All
So he's
all places that need running backs that have money.
Yeah, that's why these guys have waited. By the way, I don't think Miami's going to go after Cook anymore because they're falling in love with some running back they picked in the 5th round who's supposedly dynamic. So Cook may not go to Miami. He looks like he's another guy floating around waiting for an injury, or a holdout or whatever, and a guy that can go somewhere. I could see maybe Cook going to like New Orleans while Kamara's suspended, something like that.
I mean, they do have Jamal Williams. They did sign him.
I get it, but Cook, we'll see. Cook's just waiting in the wings, and he's going to get paid.
Well, yeah, Cook has a personal thing going on too.
Yeah, I know. I heard.
So yeah, that could be part of it. Matt Chatter, I'm with you on the Eagles and the Chiefs. The Bengals offensive line is not much better than the Bills offensive line.
No.
Joe Burrow they have a short game that's elite. That's why it looked better than it is. They just have a short game.
They got playmakers who can yards after catch, man. Yeah, yep. Very important.
And say what you want about Allen versus Burrow. I would take Team Allen all the way. But Burrow's ability to check the ball down over Josh's wanting to go deep is a big difference. Like Burrow's willing to do the Tom Brady thing and just
take what the defense gives you. Yeah, every time.
Death by 1,000 cuts. He'll throw that 5-yard route all day long, and he does not care. He doesn't.
I think Josh can do that. He's shown it, but he don't want to do it.
He gets impatient.
Yeah, like he could do it though. He did it in the Rams game. The first game of the season last year, Allen did that. Like, go back, look at that game, Mikey. You know that. It was a perfect game plan, right? Get rid of the ball quickly, let your playmakers, do their job, and then maybe go deep here and there. But then we just totally cut it out. I just think he likes the home run every time, man.
So you guys are talking about the new Bengals offensive line when they just recently brought in guys. I'm with that because they did bring in some really good offensive linemen. Like Orlando Brown Jr. came in.
Yeah, he's a good pickup.
They drafted a couple. Like I like what they're doing to protect Joe Burrow there.
Mm-hmm.
And listen, you could say it's coaching on how Allen reads the defense, but if that was truly the case, Josh Allen would slide every time because that's what the coaches want him to do. Josh Allen makes decisions on the field.
I agree.
He pulls the trigger, and I love Josh Allen. I do. I am one.
Yep.
I'm a stan of his. I love the guy. He changed our entire organization.
Yeah.
But he doesn't make always the right decision, and he'll be the first one to tell you that.
Correct. And he's matter of fact, he's said it multiple times this offseason that he needs to do a better job at taking what the defense gives him. He understands that. At least I'm hoping when the lights come on this season that he understands it, because saying it and doing it is two different things. But listen, me and Mikey, and I'm not saying you don't, Sean, but we are sticklers. Like, we watch every play. I go back, I watch film. Mm-hmm. There is plenty of times that Josh could take what the defense has given him, and he doesn't. He chooses not to, and that is not on coaching. He holds it, or he tries to force the ball into a tight window. And listen, sometimes it works out, and we're like, yeah.
A lot of times it works out.
Yeah, and I'm good with that. I'm cool with it. But sometimes, man, just give it to Cook, right? Give it to McKenzie at that time when he's wide open. I'm just saying, give it to Shakir there. Give it to Naeem Hines there's so many times that guys were wide open, and he just wants to just force it to Davis down the field or Diggs. It's like, I get it. I love it when it completes and all that, but sometimes we don't need all that. Mm-hmm. You can get that another play down there, on another play, but that's not coaching.
But I am with him on this.
Yeah.
If Josh doesn't want to do it, it's Dorsey's job to reel him in. And here's part of the problem.
Yeah.
And
I kind of agree with that.
Yeah, and here's part of the problem. Dabo is really good at reeling Josh in. Dorsey is a former quarterback as well who had that killer instinct. And I think last year, and I think they've learned from this and they've talked about it, they were each other's biggest blind spot Like they both like, let's go for it. Just
Oh yeah, yeah.
there was
I
nobody.
agree.
There was nobody putting the governor on those two. They're like they hyped each other up, tried to one up it, and it's just
Yep.
that wasn't a great. Now it seems like Dorsey's learned from that last year. It seems like Josh has learned from that last year, as he's talked about this offseason. So we'll see how it plays out this year. But if he can't reel him in,
But I also want to point out, Red, White, and Bills. You've been watching Buffalo football for a while, I'm assuming. Go back and look at Dable when he first got here. How long did it take Dable to find his way? Took him a little bit. Let's be real here, right?
Dable was not good.
Okay, and I still didn't think he totally found his way. I thought Josh made him a little better, right?
Yep.
Made him look better. Let's be real, guys. And so y'all got to take a little break because this was his first year. And to Mikey's point, and I agree, he is a former quarterback who was a Heisman, right, in college, who, didn't care what anyone said. I got that little clip where he's like, you know what? Oh, I haven't played anybody tough? All right. And he's slinging it down against Penn State. That's Dorsey, right? Dorsey, that's the guy slamming the tablet, right? Like, he's a high-energy guy, just like Josh. Like, he just wants to prove everybody wrong, right? And I think he also has to learn like Josh has to learn. And I think he will. So don't knock him too hard for his first season because it ain't perfect for anyone's first season in coaching.
Tommy, you don't have to defend him. No one was attacking him. It was a
I don't know.
Nobody was attacking him. It's okay.
I don't know.
I'll tell you.
I heard attacks.
I love what I see from him this offseason. I see the creative crap that I was asking for in training camp that we brought back the motion. He's moving guys around. There's a conversation going on in the chat about keeping 4 tight ends. I think they're going to keep 3 tight ends and then Gilliam. And Gilliam's a hybrid tight end fullback. So what if you can call him whatever you want. You can call him a fullback, you can call him a tight end. He's going to be moved around. But they're all going to be moved around because sometimes you're going to see Dawson Knox in the backfield. Sometimes you're going to see Kincaid in the backfield. Sometimes you're going to see Gilliam in the backfield. Gilliam's also a four core special teams player.
Yep. You know what? We'll do this real quick and then we'll get off. So guys, because we were gonna do this. So because you were talking about the tight ends, it's a good time to pop this up, Mikey. So this is, by the way, shout out to Bills Wire. Mikey will go on from here. So this is the 40 locks for the Buffalo Bills 53-man roster. This is what they're saying, and we'll go from there. So Mikey, quarterback, we'll start with.
So slide down a little bit so I can see it.
Yeah, right there. You don't see it?
I do now. I do now.
Right.
Roster locks, they only have Josh Allen. Kyle Allen and Barkley. They're expecting Kyle Allen to beat out Barkley. And this goes to something that Jessica Tennis said over in the comments about, I think it's Jessica who said it. Trek Reviewer came out and said it. Says if Barkley and Allen don't work out, do you guys see us using a day 2 or day 3 pick next year?
No.
I can see us using a day 3 pick on a quarterback. Listen, I wanted us to use a day 3 pick this year on a quarterback.
I would not.
Dorian Thompson Robinson, DTR, who looks awesome as I would not mind us taking a late round flyer on a QB. However,
that's rough.
However, just know he'll be battling against, a mid-tier backup quarterback who's going to take a low cost. So if we do draft one, he'll be battling against Barkley and the Kylan Allens of the world to make the roster.
Mm-hmm.
James Cook is the only roster lock in the running back room, and I think this is false. I also believe Latavius Murray is the roster lock. I think those are the 2 roster locks.
I agree.
I think Harris is on the border of a roster lock if he gets back by week 2 of the preseason and has a strong showing. I think he's going to be a lock, and I think those are our 3 halfbacks, and then I think Gilliam is a roster lock as a fullback / tight end.
Yeah, and Evans gets cut. I think I don't think Evans makes it.
Darrington Evans, I think he's a practice squad guy.
Yeah, that's what. Cut goes on the practice squad. Yep. So here's your receiver list.
Receivers, roster locks. They have Diggs, Davis, Hardy, Shakir, and Shorter. I think Diggs, Davis, Hardy, Shakir are roster locks. I think Shorter's in a battle. I really do.
Yeah,
And I
I
think
am
he's in a
surprised
three-way battle.
I am surprised that they have him as a lock. I think he makes the 53 because what I said earlier in the podcast. Because I don't think they want to. I don't know if they want to gamble putting him on practice squad. Right? I don't think they want to gamble that. But that's me.
Yeah.
I don't think it's a lock. You know what I mean? But I'm just saying my opinion. I don't know if that they'll put him on the practice squad just because of that. But yeah, go ahead, Mike.
You know who they don't have as a lock here? Sherfield.
Wow. Did they? Well, sometimes.
Yeah.
Did they put his name on the? Or
Yeah, they say Trent Sherfield currently feels like the next closest thing. They have Justin Shorter as a lock, but not Trent Sherfield.
Shocked. I am shocked with that. Trent Sherfield's had himself.
Trent Sherfield is borderline wide receiver 3.
Right? Yeah, dude. No. So they're total. See, and I'm glad. This is why, guys. This is why I brought this article up because Bills Wire. I listen. I love them. I do a lot of videos. On their based on their articles, and I'll always throw my opinion, and that's what's good about this because everybody sees things differently. So whoever wrote this clearly thinks maybe Trent Sherfield may not make the team, but I totally disagree. Totally disagree on that, and I'm guessing Mike does too.
Yep. Jessica comes in and says, "I personally want the Bills to go after Drew Lock as a backup. I would love to have Drew Lock as a backup." I think Drew Lock is going to have a long career as a backup quarterback.
I agree.
I don't think he'll ever be a superstar starter, but I think he could get you 500 if Josh was to miss 4 weeks. I think he could go 2-2.
Yeah,
and that's what you want out of your backup.
Like I would love like a Gardner Minshew. You know, maybe that's not going to happen.
Jacoby Brissett.
Right.
You know,
even though he's older, he's still he has game and he still could play.
I would love
still comfortable.
one of those guys. Yeah, I would love one of those guys as our backup.
Because
and even if they had to sit on the sidelines, because Josh doesn't seem to miss time.
Right,
awesome.
Right. I agree.
So
anybody else here? Are you done with this list?
No. So I told you who my locks were. I think Sherfield's a lock. I think Shorter's in the 3-man race. Again, as I said, Isabella is still an outside candidate, especially if he's going to be a returner. And then I think they
have Wayne here, and Wayne's not even on the team, by the way. Yeah. Sorry, cut you.
Yeah, no, it's fine. This was probably written as they were
maybe.
I imagine as this is a long lock, it's probably been written and gone over. And and Wayne's recently been released when we signed Isabella because Isabella's not even on here.
Right.
And then Tyrell Shavers, the other rookie undrafted, who also has a big background from a Big Ten program. He went to Alabama, was a Big Ten recruit, and then moved out of Alabama on, and also has special teams. So I think it's a 3-man race for that wide receiver 6 position.
Yeah. Yep.
So
all right, go to the next, and we are at tight end, baby.
Tight ends. They have Knox and Kincaid. And you could put Gilliam technically here if you like, because Gilliam's pretty much a lock. He's gonna be a tight end fullback hybrid. He's one of our core special teamers. He's not going anywhere.
I agree.
The battle comes down to, is it gonna be Quentin Morris or is it gonna be Chase was it Sternenberger? Jay Sternenberger?
Yeah, the guy from Green Bay. Was it Green Bay?
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
He was a high pick for Green Bay. Super athletic. Has looked good in camp. So I think the preseason is going to tell us who's it going to be. Now, what do they want? Do they want more of a blocking tight end, or do they want a receiving tight end? Right. Because Morris is more of a receiving tight end. He's a converted wide receiver. So if you're looking for the receiving tight end, he seems like to be a better fit. If you want an all around, then that would be Sternenberger, who I think would do that. And who knows? Maybe they Morris is selected, and then Sternberger goes to the practice squad, and then they're changed, because I don't think either one of them is being picked up by anybody.
Yeah, I don't think so either. I agree with you.
Gamer said to be our backup would make Von Miller happy. That would surprise me. Okay, sorry. Then what's next? Tackles.
Yeah,
roster locks.
Offensive.
Oh, this is offensive line.
Offensive line. Yeah, offensive. Yeah,
So
the
they
whole
have
thing.
Deion, Spencer, Mitch, Torrance, David Edwards, Connor McGovern, Ryan Bates, Tommy Doyle. I don't believe Doyle is a lock.
I don't either.
I do believe. I would say Dawkins, Brown, Morris, Torrance, Edwards, McGovern, Bates are the locks. I would say because I think they're going to keep 10.
Mm-hmm.
I would say from a backup tackle perspective, I think they're going to keep 2 of 3. It's going to be between Shell, Quessenberry, and Doyle. And then interior, I think they're going to keep one more. And I have a feeling Ike Bacher is like on that borderline of they love him and he has flexibility. I have a weird feeling that they're going to keep him too. And they're going to keep 10 offensive linemen.
I have Bacher on the bubble. I'm not sure what they're going to do with him. It's the one guy I think could be a cut candidate. But I know they like him, so it's very possible that
listen,
like said, they wind up
we signed him and just stashed him all of last year.
No, that's what I'm saying. They like right. So that's the reason why I'm like iffy on it because they see something in the dude to stash him away like that. So
right. I'll tell you, Red, White, and Bills. You are 100% right. Doyle showed how tough he was playing the last 15 snaps on a torn ACL.
Unreal, right?
And it wasn't even like, and he was doing it from an offensive line position, a guard position at that. Yeah. I can see on the practice squad. Jessica, I don't know if I might get snagged off the practice squad because he has tape out there showing that he is a decent, at worst case, backup offensive lineman, depth offensive lineman. If I don't know. I think he gets snagged off our practice squad if he goes there. I really do.
Yeah, offensive lineman. Yeah.
We watched Baby Richie. We watched Baby Richie get snagged.
Quick, you're right. And I liked him, man. I thought he was going to be a decent rotational guy.
Remember Tenuta? T-Rex?
Oh, you're right. T-Rex got taken. Yes. Forgot about Luke Tenuta. Terrible pick, by the way.
Yeah, but he got snagged.
But he did get picked up. Offensive linemen tend to go. Yes, because teams are desperate for offensive linemen. Very desperate.
Chuck, what do you mean you think he can be protected? The practice squad protection is no longer in place. That was a COVID thing.
Yeah, it's gone. It's gone.
Or a pandemic thing. I shouldn't say the word.
Yeah. Be careful. I don't want to lose my. I don't lose monetization here.
Yep. So then for this is just DNs.
Yeah.
It says Vaughn, Rousseau, Floyd are the only locks. I would put AJ as a lock after McDermott.
I would too. I agree.
And I think that last one, because I think they're going to keep 5. I think that last one comes down to between Shaq and Boogie. And 100%. There's a possibility with Rousseau or with Vaughn going on PUP. There's a possibility they both make it.
You may be right.
But
I don't think
if
so.
they want to keep 5 safeties, they're going to have to cut somewhere else. So this seems like a good spot they can cut. They can trade off, because I don't think Shaq's going to get cut. They love what he brings.
I agree, and he's been with this defense so long. He understands the defense probably better than some of the guys that's been on the team a couple years already. You know what I mean? He's been there a while. So he understands what McDermott wants. So, and he had a good season last year.
Yeah.
It wasn't like he had a mediocre. He came in, he filled in pretty well. So, unless he has a bad preseason or he gets hurt or something like that, I think Shaq makes the team. I think Boogie's the one. I keep saying I don't hear much from him, and it's not good. That's not a good thing.
Yep. So let's look at the defense tackle. I am very shocked that the only one they don't have is Jordan Phillips. Oliver, Daquan, Puna, and Tim Settle's locks. I don't think Tim Settle's a lock. I think Oliver, Jones, and Ford are absolutely locks.
I agree.
I think Jordan Phillips, who just got back, if he's healthy, he's a lock.
I agree.
Tim Settle, I like the idea of keeping 5 because of the issues we had last year. I wouldn't be surprised if they don't try to showcase him and move him.
Exactly. There it is. The word showcase. I said earlier. I'm telling you guys, y'all think it's a joke, man. Y'all might be like, damn, Tim Settle wrecking things up, and then we move him.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I agree. Listen, I think they love Jordan Phillips, man. They keep bringing him back for a reason. And I love Jordan Phillips as well. He's a good, this dude brings it when healthy. I think he's a good locker room guy. He's good. He's good for the team. So I don't see him moving on from Jordan Phillips. They signed him for 1 year for a reason. They want him back. They understand he had the injury, right? Because why sign him, right? If they knew, this guy's gonna take a while. He has to go through rehab. Clearly, they want him back. So they gave him 1 year for a reason. I think he's here to stay. I think he's. I don't think you'll see him this weekend, Mikey. I don't think so. I think next week you see Phillips. Because I think they're going to gradually get him in there.
I don't think you'll see him this week either.
Okay.
Jessica comes in and says Boogie has the flexibility to play edge and kicking inside. It's not just Boogie. Rousseau's been kicking inside, and so has Epinesa and Shaq. All of them have been kicking inside recently. That's why I don't think they need to have 5 defensive tackles, because we have DNs who can reduce down and play on the interior.
Mm-hmm. All right, linebacker.
Gary says Settle's a lock. What makes you think
I don't think so. Yeah, I don't think so.
Settle's also dealing with the lower leg injury most of last year as well. I also don't think they used him correctly. I think he's more of a 3-tech than a 1-tech. Yep. And with us bringing in Puna, will allow us to use him in multiple roles. So he may make the roster. We may keep 5, and I'm okay with that.
Yeah, I'm okay. Listen, I was excited when we got Tim Settle. I still think Tim Settle has potential, but he hasn't caught on. He didn't catch on last year. Yep. Thought he had an okay season, if that.
He was quiet.
He was quiet. Right, exactly. I didn't think he played terrible. I just think he was quiet. He didn't do much when his number was called. You know what I mean? But I didn't think he played terrible.
But you know who made careers out of stuff like that? Harrison.
You're right.
Harrison Phillips is that way. And I love Horrible Harry. But there was times that he would be really good, and then there was times they'd be really quiet.
No. I agree. With that.
And Bill's Mafia loves that guy. All right, so linebackers. They have Milano, Dodson, Matakevich, Bernard, and Dorian Williams. I think they nailed it.
Yeah, they did. 100%.
They absolutely nailed it. Well, I think those are our linebackers.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'll be interested to see what they do with Matakevich, who's still on PUP.
Yeah, he's still working his way back.
Yep. Because I think Balin Spector is actually going to be a lock. So I think Matakevich is going to start on PUP, and I think Balin Spector is going to be that guy.
I think they like Spector. I think they still need. I still think he needs fine tuning.
With Bernard's injury, you're going to see a lot of Spector tomorrow. I think that opens 100%. The door for him.
100%. And I said that yesterday in a video I did. I said this is terrible timing for Bernard to get hurt, right? And
terrible for him. Awesome for Spector.
That exactly what I said. I said. I mean, I know that sucks, right? Your teammate, but you were behind, and now is a very good opportunity for you to showcase yourself, and maybe now it's between you and Dotson. So we'll see. But you're now given the opportunity to showcase what you got. So, and I thought he did good last year, by the way. So we'll see.
Yeah, Jessica's right. I think he starts on PUP too.
I do
too. You can't cut Matakevich because of his contract. It was, you can move him, but I don't know if anyone's trading for Matakevich. Like Tim Settle is also, his contract doesn't allow you to cut him and save anything, but you can move it, and then his contract goes with him. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays. Matakevich is our special teams captain as well. Although I believe, if I remember correctly, Saran Neal's the captain now. I don't think Matakevich is the captain anymore. He was the captain originally, but I think Saran Neal took it over last year.
Okay.
Spector can showcase all he wants. Bills clearly shows Dotson over Spector. So best Spector can do.
Well, we know
spots from.
Yeah, I agree. Dotson's in the lead. Yeah, but that doesn't. But Dotson's in the lead. But they said it would still. If you look at the depth chart, it was still Dotson and Bernard at that one at middle linebacker. So it wasn't set in stone that Dotson's the guy at week 1, but according to all reports, he has a slight lead over Bernard. But what we're saying is Now that Bernard is hurt, and who knows how long it's going to take for him to get back.
More reps.
It gives Spectre, it gives Spectre more opportunity to showcase what he could do in preseason. And I said this earlier. Sometimes when the lights go on, guys, players play a little different. So, just throwing that out there. Dotson may look great in camp. Maybe when it comes down to preseason, doesn't look too hot. We'll see. You know what I mean? And maybe Spectre shines, and then the coaches go, uh-oh. All right, okay, and that's what you want to see, anyways, of course. So let's see what happens.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Spectre. I think he's one of those, those late round draft picks that just finds a way to stay on the roster. He's a football player. He's not an athlete.
Yeah, I agree.
I'm a big fan of Spectre. I know we talked about it when we did our positional breakdowns. I think he's the best balanced linebacker we have. He can do, I don't think he's better at coverage than Bernard. I don't think he's a better run defender than Dotson, but I think he's the best of both worlds. But they're not ready to give it to him. It's only year 2, so we'll see what happens. I think the more reps he gets, the better for him.
Yep.
Okay, so now we're over at corners.
Yep.
They have White, Johnson, Elam, Jackson, Benford. They nailed it.
Right. Yes, they did.
They nailed it. Like those are our locks.
Right. They are locks.
Cam Lewis is a safety. Saran Neal's a special teamer. I think he's a lock. I do.
He is 100%.
But I would mark him as a specialty guy. He's a special teamer.
Right.
But other than that,
it's right. Yeah, I'm good with
they nailed that one.
And safety is gonna, be
safety, Hyde, Poyer, and Rapp. Those are.
But there is an interesting one. They look at the DeMar thing. Now, what do you think about that? And I'm glad we got on this subject here because this is an interesting. It's interesting.
Here's what I'll say.
Right.
I don't think he's a lock to make the roster.
Right.
I think he's a lock to stay with the team. If for some reason he's not going to make the roster, he gets beat out by Cam Lewis or whatever the case.
Right.
I can see them working with him as putting him on the IR or putting him on whatever they want, and then
stash him away.
As an
work
ambassador
something out
role,
with him.
and as he can be the ambassador of things. I don't think the Bills will let him go by any means.
I don't think so either, Mikey. That's why I was thinking. I think. PR wise would be bad. I don't think the Bills want to.
Well,
I'm just saying. I understand. No, it's business. Listen, I get it, but I'm just saying. I don't know if you can cut him. Not now. You know what I mean? Maybe next year. You know what I mean? I just think it's kind of like people will be like, oh, I just don't know. I don't know if the Bills would do that. Now, putting on IR or something like that, keeping around the team. Different. You know what I mean? Hey, the Bills are deciding to do this with them. They agreed, let's just hold off this season and you know what I mean? And the next season, you get the opportunity.
Although,
I think people will buy into that,
Yeah, although I think he's going to make the team. He was good last year.
He was, but Cam Lewis,
I think, like I said,
it's playing very well.
I think they're keeping 5.
Yeah, I agree. I do. I can't see him cutting him, though. I can't.
I don't think they cut him either. If for some reason they weren't going to be able to keep him, I think they work something else out with him.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
And obviously, this one was pretty
roster
quick.
Locks.
Yeah. Tyler Bass, get out of here.
Only 3 guys in the building. All 3 of them signed extensions over the offseason.
Yeah, and that's it. That is it for that,
they
guys.
They actually didn't.
They didn't special
job.
Teams. They missed special. They missed kick return, punt return, but that's not a position. But by the way, real quick before we get out of here, on that kick return, punt return, you think Hardy right now is the guy that probably will be that guy, or you think Isabella's still
surely open? I think it's surely open.
Okay.
I think Isabella has a chance. I think Hardy has a chance. I think Drayton Evans has a chance, especially with Harris being hurt. I don't think it's over at all.
Right.
Shakir's still in the running.
I thought, by the way, real quick, when we got Hardy, I knew he was short. Okay. I didn't know he was 5'6" short. That dude, I thought Hill was short, and Hill's 5'10". Let's say 5'9", 5'10". Holy crap. He may be the shortest player in the NFL. man, dude, like he could get lost behind an offensive line. You may not see him on some gadget sweeps and stuff like that. Like he is so small.
And he's
so fast.
And he has
crap, he's
really
fast.
good technical route running. So he's not just that. He's also a receiver, which is
dude.
awesome.
When I saw his film when he's
God.
healthy in New Orleans, bro, he was dynamic on slants. He is so fast, dude. Like that when healthy, he was a weapon in New Orleans, man. It's just staying healthy. Once again, he's like the Harris thing, where it's like, can he stay healthy? Can he give me a full season? And that's where the worry comes in with Hardy, right? So that's the only concern I got with Hardy.
If he stays healthy, the dude's a stud. He was healthy his rookie year.
I agree.
Hasn't been healthy since.
I think that's why I signed him 2 years. They see the dynamic part of him.
I love this comment from Jason. The top 5 receivers for the Giants tonight are all former Bills. David Sills, 2 catches, 36 yards. Cole Beasley, 4 catches, 33 yards. Jamison Crowder, 2 catches, 32 yards. Tommy Sweeney, 1 catch, 14 yards, and a touchdown. Isaiah Hodgins, 1 catch, 13 yards.
What? Bro, I didn't even know they had David Sills. That's funny. Yeah. I forgot all about David Sills. That is so funny. And then they got the whole damn team.
Last year, they signed David Sills and Isaiah Hodgins. This
Okay,
year,
I know
they
about
signed
Hodgins.
Beasley, Crowder, and Sweeney.
That's wild, guys.
And don't forget, they have Breida, too.
And and our old OC's their head coach. I mean, like, damn.
They have Tyrod
and our GM. What is going on? Wow, dude. That's wild. That is really wild.
Yeah.
Well, Mikey. Oh, real quick, guys. Before just a heads up. Tomorrow, I'm going live at 4:15, right after 4:10, 4:15, right after the preseason game. So if you guys want to join me, that's up to you. Mikey may join me. Depends on what he's doing, but I'll definitely be on here live post game and just kicking it with you guys. So if you guys want to join me, that's up to you. Tomorrow at about 4:10, 4:15. Just hit the notification bell when you see the scheduled show.
And we appreciate you. Listen, you guys led this entire conversation.
Man, you guys killed it. Yeah.
Like me and Tommy had that pulled up and we want to talk about it, and your guys' questions just kept this thing running, for almost an hour and a half. So we appreciate all of you.
Yeah, man. Any last words, Mikey?
Go Bills.
Damn right. Bills Mafia, we love you. And as always, go Bills. We are out of here. Peace.